Just now, this young lady announced, today we are going to discuss how to escape from suffering. Anyway, Buddhism is not escapism, not a method for us to escape. Actually, Buddhism teaches how to challenge, how to face. After facing and challenging, we come to know the real nature of existence, the real nature of suffering, and whether there is any solution to stop it, but not to escape. There is a vast difference between stopping and escaping. Because there are some people who try to criticize the Buddha's way of introducing this religion. To them, this is some sort of escapism. You say the Buddha started this. He escaped from his royal palace. He had to run away. And he gave up his wife and children and family and everything. So they say he has introduced escapism, not knowing the real method or the meaning. So anyway, we have been discussing the Four Noble Truths. Now this is the third one. Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Marga. These are the Four Noble Truths. Why do we introduce these four truths as noble truths? Because many other things that we realize as truths are not noble. Many of those truths we realize and understood for the time being as truth, subject to change. They are changeable from time to time according to our mood, our knowledge, our understanding, our experience. Truths are changeable. Many things that we have understood earlier as truths, we had to withdraw, we had to change, because we knew that they are not the real truth. And this situation will continue forever. Now we are maintaining certain beliefs and certain ideas as truths. But these things are also changeable. Therefore, they are not noble truths. And these four are unchangeable. There is nobody in this universe who can change. No one can challenge with this noble truth. So the one meaning of noble is unchangeable, absolute. Another meaning. Absolute truth. Another meaning. Those who try to understand the real nature of these Four Noble Truths, the method or the knowledge that they experience and practice become noble methods. Then life become a noble life. But when we realize the nature of many other truths, life never become noble. But these Four Noble Truths, when we try to understand, our life also become noble. Noble means meaningful, respectable, reasonable method, way of life. Now you realize why we want to use the word noble truth, not like ordinary truth that we accept. Now scientists discovered so many things from time to time. Yes, for the time being we accept their discoveries as truth. Later, some other scientists discovered many more things and point out what the other scientists have discovered earlier is not the absolute truth. This situation is always going on changing. Now let us take medical science. Medical science and those medical people are still going on doing a lot of research work. The cause of certain sicknesses and the remedies. From time to time they announce. Now let us take the cause of cancer. And today they say something. This is the cause of cancer. Some people say smoking is the cause of cancer. Some others say drinking coffee is the cause of cancer. Some others say this foul air, breathing, spoil our lungs and throat and this is the cause of cancer. So from time to time they say something, but absolute truth is not there. Again they discovered. They say they have discovered this medicine for diabetes, for cancer, for blood pressure. They say this is the latest discovery. Then people accept this as truth. Later, some others discovered some other method. Then they realize the latest discovery is more effective than the oldest discovery. So, they are not absolute truth. So, these Four Noble Truths discovered by the Buddha are not changeable like that. Okay. Now, let us start from the beginning. We have discussed first two items, dukkha and samudaya, meaning. First we realize existence in this world or any other part of the world creates suffering. Now, no controversy, no argument, it is true. Either physically or mentally. In any form, either as human beings or animals or a spirit or devas or brahmas, any forms of existence, create some sort of suffering. Here suffering means, the real meaning of this word, suffering is some sort of unsatisfactoriness, disappointment. If not physically, now let us take devas or brahmas. We always regard them as very fortunate and they enjoy their life. They can spend their time for a long period, thousands and thousands of years. Because of that, we believe that they are more fortunate, since we can spend about 70 to 80 years in this world. But we do not know the problems, the difficulties, disappointments that they experience, although we regard them as very fortunate living beings. In fact, their life is very, very delicate, not like ours. The formation the dimension, the combinations of elements, the formation is not like ours. Because of that, their existence is very uncertain. Now let us refer to the Buddha. Kidda Padusika Deva, a group of devas in Devaloka. Their life is so delicate. After playing and playing and playing, when they are exhausted, that their physical body cannot tolerate this. So what will happen? Their formations of this structure or the physical body is completely evaporate, extinguish or disappear. That means they cannot tolerate. Again, Mano Padusika Deva, another group of devas, when they lose their temper, when they are very angry, that anger, when it is flare up, their physical body cannot tolerate this anger, and they collapse and die. So delicacy. So now you can understand the nature of their existence. Not only that, when they come to know that they are going to die, that is the most critical, sad occasion in their life. They go panic because they are going to see the end of their worldly enjoyment. No more. So they depart from this world as unsatisfied, unhappy, disappointed people, not as those who really experience the meaning of their life. This is the nature of existence. So suffering is there. So in so-called heaven, paradise, also this suffering is there. Earlier no one could understand this. People think that heaven is permanent, eternal, everlasting, because religious people illustrate, beautify, decorate and introduce. So we believe it. The Buddha pointed out the nature of heaven and paradise. So dukkha is there, not free from dukkha. Then the second item in Four Noble Truths, samudaya. Samudaya, the cause. What is the cause of this unsatisfactoriness? If you are not happy with this life, if you experience more pain, unhappiness, disappointment, frustrations, worries, disturbances, intolerance, what is the cause of it? This is the biggest problem. So according to our imagination, we create our own ideas. The cause must be this or that. We create suspicion in our mind. The cause of our suffering may be due to devil or ghost or spirits, charm, enemies. These are the ideas that we always create in our mind when we experience some sort of problems. This is our definition. later we will come to know that our definition is not correct. We spend a lot of money also, but we never think, without spending anything, that we will be able to find out the cause of all our suffering. I have already explained what sort of belief people maintain in their mind as the cause of suffering. They say, we had to suffer because we have committed sins. We have gone against the will of God. So, the God has to curse, to suffer, create suffering. So if we want to get rid of this suffering, you must believe in that particular God. Then He will forgive your sins. Now this is one method. It's a very good technique to convert people. That is the main idea. Then some others say, by performing various kind of rites or rituals or ceremonies in the name of the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas or Devas or spirits, by pleasing them, offering, sacrificing, animal sacrificing, offering blood to those devas, the spirits, slaughtering animals to please those spirits and ghosts, devas. They believe that they can get rid of their suffering. This is the second method. Another method, by torturing their physical body, still exists in certain countries. By knowing that they have done lot of mistake, committed lot of sins, they believe by torturing this physical body, suffering, they will be able to wash away or escape from suffering. So what do they do? You might have seen how they burn their body here and there, and how they poke, and how they starve without taking food. And some people die without taking food, going on fasting until they die. So they say when they die like that, all their sins will be washed away. And torturing this physical body without sleeping, and suffering from certain sicknesses without taking any medicine. There are so many methods. Now, the Buddha had to study all these existing methods at that time. Then he pointed out, all these methods are wrong. Cannot find absolute truth or noble truth there. This is only man's imagination. Then he pointed out, what is the cause? The cause of our suffering is nothing but our own craving that we have developed in our mind. Craving, desire, anxieties, selfishness, all are in the same group. These mental pollution or forces later create jealousy, intolerance, anger, hatred, grudge, ill will, unhappiness, enmity. Now you can see how we develop one after the other, all these evil forces. If there is any suffering in our life, the main cause of all our suffering is nothing but our own craving for this, craving for that, craving for many other things. This we can understand through our own experience. The very day when we withdraw this craving, how we feel that suffering is no more there. I can give a very practical or simple example. Then you can understand that it is true. You have a boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't like your boyfriend or girlfriend to go out with another person. Definitely you don't like it. But you have seen or you got the news that your boyfriends or girlfriends associate or go out with another partner. Now you feel very unhappy. You get angry. Now what is the cause of this unhappiness and anger? What is the cause? Your attachment, your love, your desire, your craving. If that love is not there, you never develop this unhappiness or intolerance or anger in you. It never appears. Now you say, I love you. Yes, I really love you. What does it mean? The real meaning of this word, I love you, I need you. That's all. I love you means I need you. That is the meaning. Craving is there. Love means craving there. Now when you define the word metta, loving kindness taught by the Buddha, there we cannot use this word I love you. It is not love at all. That is called, in simple language, goodwill. When I use the word goodwill, it does not mean I want you, I need you. I extend my kindness, compassion, sympathy towards you. In return, I don't want you. Come to me. So it is not love. Then what to do now? You cannot tolerate your boyfriends or girlfriends associate with others, outsiders. You cannot tolerate. Now sometimes you think to go and kill. Yes. Then you go on thinking and thinking and thinking what to do, how to escape. This is escapism. Then you make up your mind. Well, if the situation is like that, if that person is like this, best thing is to cut off our relationship. Then, if you like, one day you can meet this person and have a talk. Heart to heart talk. Why not we separate without harboring anger or jealousy or grudge? Why not we separate? After that, you can go your own way, so I can go my own way. And no jealousy, no anger, no enmity. Agree. Separated, but no enmity. And next day, you can see that your girlfriend is going out with another boy. You never get angry. Because that craving is no more. This is more than enough for you to understand. All our suffering, unhappiness, intolerance arise because of our craving. The very day when we drop this, no more suffering. Evil forces never appear in that mind. This is the second noble truth. It is noble because it is 100% true. So today, we have to discuss about the third noble truth, Nirodha, the truth of Nirodha. Nirodha means, real meaning of this word is liberation, freedom, salvation, Nirodha. When you study the life of the Buddhas and Arahants who have attained sainthood, perfection. Sainthood or Arahanta means perfection. They are perfect. We are not perfect. We try to be perfect. We are going on cultivating, developing, understanding to be perfect. But still, we have a lot of weaknesses. Nirodha samapattito vuttahitva nisinnassa. Now these sayings you can find. The Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, Arahants, these three groups. Occasionally, they get into this Nirodha Samapatti for 1 week and experience complete satisfaction, liberation, freedom and salvation in their life during that period for 1 week. During that period, no food, no drink, no sleep, no movement of the body, just like a statue for 1 week. And no feeling. And senses are also not working, just like a dead body. The only difference, it is mentioned, between a dead body and a person who attained this Nirodha Samapatti is, when you touch the body of a person who is in Nirodha, the heat energy is there. The body is warm, not cold like dead body. That means not dead. The temperature is there. Second thing, the senses or the features or the complexion of the body is not like a dead body. When you like a dead body, you can see the complexion is no more. The features and the eyes are not normal. But when you look at a person who is in Nirodha Samapatti, after attaining this higher state, They want to cut off the connection to the mind and the body. Disconnect. So now, the mind is not working with the physical body. That means no feeling. Senses never bring any object into the mind. Stop. Cut off. Switch off. No imaginations in that mind. Never create new thoughts or ideas in that mind. Never crave for this physical body and never attend to this physical body for feeding and cleaning and washing or sleeping. No more attachments, or in simple language, awareness of worldly things. Mind is cut off from all these things. Now, thinking for ourselves, people cannot understand this. We devote our whole life to look after this physical body. No time to look after ourselves. That means our life. Devote our time to look after physical body, but not our life. This is due to our ignorance. So these Arahants and Buddhas, after attaining this higher state, they want to cut off the connection to the mind and the body. Disconnect. So now, the mind is not working with the physical body. That means no feeling. Senses never bring any object into the mind. Stop. Cut off. Switch off. No imaginations in that mind. Never create new thoughts or ideas in that mind. Never crave for this physical body and never attend to this physical body for feeding and cleaning and washing or sleeping. No more attachments, or in simple language, awareness of worldly things. Mind is cut off from all these things. Now, mind gets the chance to experience full freedom. Now there is no freedom for our mind. That is called liberation. We are liberated from the burdens of our physical body, from the burdens of our five senses, from the burdens and disturbances of worldly condition, what is happening around us. That is called liberation. In simple language, that is the time that they experience nirvana, bliss. Because no burdens, no disturbances. But in our case, even for 1 second, we cannot experience this happiness, this freedom, or this liberation. Why cannot? Assume through our meditations or understanding, we try to control our mind without allowing evil forces to come up. We are going on suppressing, reducing evil forces. Yes, very big relief to our mind. And we control our five senses also. not to become slaves to all these things, these five senses which always bring control. Even then, we cannot experience full freedom. Why? The mental energies, the polluted mental energies, evil forces in the mind that we suppressed, keep under control, are still running as undercurrents. At any moment, one of these currents can stir the mind, can create temptation in our mind. When the mind is irritated, the anger can arise at any time. That is why we cannot experience that bliss, that happiness. But occasionally, by controlling these things, we experience little bit. An example is given like this. At night time, we light a candle and keep somewhere there. Only one candle light. And near that candle light, there is a golden vessel, very shining. From far distance, we can see only little bit of this shining golden vessel, but we are not sure. We do not know what it is, but look like gold. If not, when lightning starts at night time, and little bit of brightness appears. When that brightness appears, lightning only 1 second, through this we can see that shining golden vessel, but only 1 second. After that, darkness. Again, moonlight at night time, we can recognize people. So the brightness is enough to recognize certain things, to find out. And we can see that golden vessel at night time through this moonlight. Even then, we are not sure whether it is a real golden vessel or not. And next day morning, when sun appeared, we can see, oh yes, really it is a golden vessel. Now we are sure. Now these are stages, now we can compare with our mind. The happiness it is not worldly happiness. Beyond that, in our worldly happiness, you can see our minds are not free. To experience any kind of worldly happiness, there are some obstructions, hindrances, disturbances. Our mental defilement. The vision of nirvana, the bliss that we experience, is just like flame of a candle or oil lamp. After reducing nearly 50% of our mental defilement, the nibbanic bliss or the happiness that we gain is just like the moonlight for us to recognize, to understand certain things. Then after attaining Arahanthood or the Buddhahood or complete eradications of all the mental defilements, the happiness and nirvanic bliss that we experience is just like the things that we can see through the sunlight. It is sure. So at the moment, our minds we are using to experience this happiness is just like either candlelight or the lightning. We have not gone beyond that. If not completely dark. So now I am explaining this word Nirodha Samapatti. So at that time, for 1 week, they focus their mind directly towards nirvanic bliss. It is not worldly happiness. Beyond that. In our worldly happiness, you can see our minds are not free. To experience any kind of worldly happiness, there are some obstructions, hindrances, disturbances, fear, suspicion. These two things always disturb our happiness. This is the nature of worldly happiness. So the third noble truth is called Nirodha. Freedom, liberation, salvation from all our physical and mental burdens and disturbances. Freedom from worries and fear and frustrations and disappointments and unhappiness. Our minds are not free from these things. We always come and grumble, complain. We have this problem, that problem, house problem, family problem, husbands and wife and children and neighbors and relatives and property and income and expenditure and spirit and ghost and devils and charms and black magics and enemies and the government and how many things are there. Every day, every minute, you are going on complaining, nothing but complaint. So if you want to stop all these complaints, that is the time. So the Arahants and the Buddhas and Pacceka Buddhas spent 1 week. At that time, no such complaint, no disturbances. After 1 week, become very normal. Then start eating and walking and talking. Again, they are dealing with worldly things. Although they are not attached to worldly life, they have to deal with worldly things. These things are real burdens to them. That is why occasionally they want to keep away from all these things to maintain free mind from all these disturbances. That is the third noble truth. Why is it necessary for us to get rid of all these things? Now this is a very big problem. We can understand. Definitely we are suffering. We have problems. We are not happy with this life, with this world. But we are not ready to give up because of the strong attachment. By realizing the real nature of our life and the existence and the world and worldly condition and enjoyment, what we are trying to do is to reduce one by one, step by step, going on reducing all these attachments created by our own craving. Now that is what we are doing. Since we cannot throw away at once, practical way, we are trying to take for the discipline, precept, morals, ethics. What are these things? Certain principles for us to uphold, to practice, in order to reduce this craving. So all our precept, commandment, principle, morals are based on this. That means we train ourselves not to become slaves, to maintain our dignity, not to become crazy. So we are training ourselves. The idea is to experience this freedom, salvation, liberation. That is the third noble truth. Before the Buddha started this interpretation, different religious groups had their own interpretation or the method or practices or beliefs. How to gain this liberation? This is very interesting. Everybody except the follower of any religion in this world accept that this life creates problems. There is no controversy. That is why they advise you to pray or to believe or to do something to go to heaven. Because this is not a safety place. This is very uncertain. This is miserable. Every religion says. So only solution, according to them, to go to heaven, paradise, moksha, Brahma, four stages. Then they have introduced the method. One religion says, if you want to go to heaven and paradise, you must follow this method. Another religion says, if you want to go attain moksha or Brahma world, you must follow this method. Another religion says, if you want to see the eternal life, immortal life, you must follow this method. When all these methods and beliefs and practices were there at that time, the Buddha had to explain this new method. This is a new discovery. Earlier, no one has given this interpretation. This is the method to find out salvation, liberation and freedom. Because this is called Nirodha, not heaven, not paradise, not moksha. Now, Christians and Muslims talk about heaven and paradise. But they also believe that this life is very miserable, uncertain. Therefore, your duty is to go to heaven or paradise. That life is immortal, never die to them. But there are many others who are not ready to accept it. Then another religious group says, heaven or paradise, yes, we know they do exist, but not everlasting. We have to go further. Then they introduce two more words, moksha and Brahma. These are the words that many of those existing Indian religions, mostly Indian religion, introduce. Moksha. Moksha is a Sanskrit word, meaning moksha means mukti or moksha means freedom. free from suffering. The meaning of the word moksha. For nirvana also, in the Pali language, we use this word. Moksha. That is the Pali language. Mokkho, nirodho, nibbanam, deepo, tanhakkayo, param. These are the words for nirvana. Moksha. But they do not refer to the same nirvanic bliss that the Buddha explained. Although they use the word moksha. Again, Brahma. Union with Brahma. That means we were created by Mahabrahma, a great creator. So this belief was there so many thousands of years in the world, that we were created by God. This is not a new discovery. So we were created by Mahabrahma, Creator God. So after purifying, here again difference. All these existing religions divide into two. Semitic religion teach us what we need to find out our salvation is our belief, a strong belief, belief in God, and pray. That is enough. So their religions are based on belief and faith. All the other activities are immaterial to them. That is why sometimes when they come and preach, they say, don't worry about your morals and precepts and this and that. Believe in God. Follow Him. That is enough. Based on faith. Then the other religions, especially Buddhism, teaches us. Belief itself doesn't serve the purpose. Very strongly. Your belief can become a blind faith. Your belief can become your imagination. When we analyze in your belief, there is nothing very shallow. You maintain all these beliefs while keeping all your mental impurities. So, Buddhism does not give or does not emphasize the belief or the faith is the most important ingredients for you to find out your salvation. Then what you need? You can forget about your belief. Mental purity. If there is purity in your mind, nothing to worry about your belief. If there is no purity in your mind, after that life can become miserable. Still you maintain your craving, your anger, your jealousy, your evil forces. While keeping all these evil forces in your mind, you can say, yes, I believe. But Buddhism says, that belief is not enough. Your duty is to cleanse your mind, purify your mind. Mind must be pure. When the mind is pure, in that mind, evil forces never appear. Then you are qualified, you are entitled to gain your final salvation, liberation, freedom. So moksha or nirvana must be gained through purity. So the nirodha means that freedom we gain through purity in our mind, not through faith. Then, why is it necessary for us to gain this nirodha? Why is it very difficult for us to maintain this way of life? Now this is another interesting story. Now although we experience a lot of suffering, we like to remain here. We like to stay back. Because we are attached, we are bound to this worldly life. Some people ask, if all of us attain nirvana, what will happen to this world? Nobody will look after this world, isn't it? What a pity. See how strong our attachment is. We like to remain here in spite of all these suffering because there is nobody to look after this world. It is like this. Supposing in a hospital, in one particular ward, say about 50 to 75 patients in that hospital. They have been taking medicine, but still they are suffering. A specialist come from another country and examined all these patients and announced, yes, we have a new discovery, new medicine. I can cure all your sicknesses. Within 1 month I can send you home. Then patients feel very happy, and some of those patients think, now if all of us go away, there is nobody in this ward. And these nurses, hospital attendants and doctors have no work, no job, no salary. Therefore, few of us stay back, others can go home. It's exactly like this. So they are willing to suffer for the sake of nurses and doctors and attendants to stay back. So those who ask this kind of questions are exactly like this, because of attachment. So the problem is this. What guarantee is there that we can continue, we can carry on this way of life without any changes, life after life, go on, continuing like this? Do you think it is possible? It is impossible, in simple language, impossible. You do not know how you exist here in this world today, how you came to this world, and you never realize how fortunate you are today. Compare with others. Think for a while. Although you grumble, still you are very, very fortunate.